Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. Please stand for the pledge. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. Commissioner Berkey.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Yednak.
Present.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Creech.
Present.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Very well. Citizens' concerns and comments. Did we have anyone sign up?
I'll check.
Nope. Okay. All right, then we'll move on to consent items. Docket number SCBA 20-27, Waggles at 419 Harvester Court for a wall sign. Or I'm sorry, for a canopy sign. And docket number SCBA 20-33, Global Trading Distributors, also for a canopy sign. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Creech and Yednak, I believe.
Got it. Commissioner Creech.
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Items for review. Docket number PC 20-20, major site plan approval for construction of an auxiliary employee parking lot at 209 to 211 Industrial Lane. Ms. Nyes?
So this docket is before you for a major site plan review, and major site plan reviews are required for sites or projects with significant site alterations. Those are required to have a concept review by the village board before it comes to the plan commission, unless it's waived by the village administrator. The concept review was waived by the village administrator. So that was due to the scope of the proposed project, which is a parking lot for employees. So as this is a request for a major site plan approval, the Plan Commission's recommendation will be forwarded to the village board for a final decision.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Please step up. Step up here. I didn't even know there was a square there yet.
Okay.
There should
And
be a
you can-
mouse up there. Is it up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you, if you want to scroll through at your leisure.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, just for the record, your name and business
My name's
address.
Curtis Hanstein. I'm with Diversified Engineering. We did the design for the site, so.
Okay.
Could you speak up, please?
Yes, sorry.
Or
You can-
closer to the mic.
Yeah, move that
Okay.
mic up a little bit too, maybe.
All right. The picture here, I believe this looks like it's after they tore the existing buildings down. So currently there's two entrances. We're going to one entrance, 103 total spaces. It's all going to drain to a catch basin. Oh, okay, here it is, to here, and with underground retention system, and then piped into the village's stormwater piping out in front of industrial. I believe it's 0.76 acres of asphalt. It's going to be paved parking lot. And then 0.26 acres of green space around the edges. Do have a landscaping plan scheduled. And, looks like the location map.
No, that's different.
That's a different one?
That's a different project.
That's the
Okay.
next one.
Yeah, sorry, all right.
That's all you got.
Yeah, it's just a parking lot. Is there any questions or,
I'm sure there will be.
okay?
So we'll start with Commissioner Creech on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, sir.
Yes,
I just had a couple quick questions.
yeah.
I saw that they were working on the street over there for sure. Maybe this is a question for staff. But are we putting curbs and gutters in a new street on Industrial Drive there?
I believe they were installed previously.
Are you aware of any of?
I would have to check with engineering on that.
Because I saw
Unless, Ron,
there
you
was some
know.
storm pipes and stuff over there, but
It's not,
are you aware of that, Ron?
No, not that I know of.
Okay, well, I guess,
Because the storm sewer and the curbing and gutter in front of there was, I forget when it was installed, but it wasn't, because we have the plans for all that to tie into everything, so. But I don't remember the year on the plans.
I'm sorry, could you?
I'm sorry, I don't
Get
remember.
closer and talk louder,
Okay,
please.
sorry. Yeah, there was storm sewer and curbing installed in front of our site. I don't remember when it was.
Okay.
But we had the as-built plans, but I don't remember what the date on the plans were.
All right, I went over there and looked, and I'm thinking that it wasn't in yet, but I was on two streets, so I was on Sumac as well.
Okay, they are working on Sumac.
Okay,
At the
I wasn't
corner.
sure
Yeah.
which one had it and which one didn't, but, okay, my other question is, I noticed that you're installing a security gate on that southeast corner, but it doesn't appear that the fence goes completely around the parking lot. Is that in fact the case?
Yes. Yes, that is,
So you're just securing them to get onto the waste management site, is that it?
correct.
Okay. My other question was, were you planning on installing a sidewalk on the front end of this property? Because I don't see it on the plan.
No, it's not on the plan.
So aren't we requiring all new projects to install sidewalks as part of our sidewalk program?
It would be the only sidewalk there.
yeah, that is something I'd have to check with engineering on.
Okay, I thought that was part of our
Yeah.
sidewalk plan, that all new project either contributed or installed a sidewalk
Down
on
at
new
the end of-
projects.
At the end of industrial, they required a sidewalk for the
I
convenience.
can't hear you.
Down at the end of industrial, we did require the sidewalk for the convenience store. We had
Yeah,
discussion on which
at
side of the
Sumac.
road it was going to go on.
I know there's a brand-new sidewalk on the other side, north side, all the way down the
I
road.
know, but I'm just stating a fact.
No, yeah, I understand.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Thompson,
No questions for me, thank you.
Commissioner Yednek.
Yeah, just one quick question. I didn't see a lot of detail on the connection to the other property. The whole purpose is what you're doing is to build a employee parking lot.
That's correct, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see any really, I see one little information about a guard gate, but then are you going to have to make changes? Would we need to review the changes to the other property if there's going to be a walkway where all the
There's a man gate to the back and a sidewalk connecting to the waste management property. It's hard to see on this.
I thought it was down in the bottom, my bottom right.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, there's.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
Yeah, there's no other changes proposed.
But when you look at the other property, it's all, the employees are going to be going through the industrial drives, where all the trucks are and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, I don't know if the fire department has any concern about that? Or are you going to be making changes, create a walkway on on the existing property?
They didn't, the fire department didn't have any comments regarding
They
that.
have to dodge the dump trucks?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're concerned about the employees walking and,
into the existing property, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was just taking a quick look on Google Maps, and it looks like they're just.
there's a
gonna walk
lot of trucks
across
parked there.
right into where all the trucks are and everything. There's no existing walkway or anything, so I just had a concern of, this is going to be the employee parking, you're connecting it to the other property, but I would have thought you would have had to make changes to the other property to account for a walkway, pedestrian access to get to the other building or wherever. I don't know how they do their work, if they got to go all the way to the building to get their keys.
Yeah,
and go back to their
they'll
trucks.
go into the 230 Sumac building, get their keys, and then have their morning launch meeting, and then go to their trucks.
Well, would the village have a concern about not having the walkways designated and things?
Yeah, when we looked at it as, basically, it's essentially the same as it is now. The employees walk through that space to go between their trucks and the other areas that they go to, and we didn't consider it a significant enough change. And it's also not really in the scope of the fire code for walkways of that nature, so.
Okay, I didn't know if we needed to see that detail. That was the only question I had. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's it? Okay. Commissioner Sprague?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just was wondering, the employees that are going to park here, where do they park now?
Throughout the site, it's kind of
Just spread out all over?
Yeah,
So this is basically relief
Correct.
off of your
correct,
property on Sumac?
correct.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Berkey?
No questions.
And my questions were answered.
Great.
Anyone have anything else on this? Any other questions? Oh, Ms. Nyes, you have something else.
I did forget to mention that there was a recommended condition on this, so,
And that was for the?
for the irrigation plan.
Right.
I forgot to mention that, sorry.
Okay, no other questions? Then read the official condition and we'll ask for a motion.
An irrigation plan shall be submitted for staff review and approval as part of the engineering permit for site work.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Creech?
Yes.
I forgot to mention before, Commissioner Belanova is absent with previous notice. Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. You'll be in touch.
Yeah, so this is gonna go to the board meeting on Monday,
Okay,
but it'll be remote, I think.
okay, so I don't have to come back
So,
today.
I don't think so.
Thank you.
So, thanks for coming in. I'll contact you tomorrow.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right. Docket number 2020-32, Prairie Park Concept Review, 70 Prairie Park Drive. It's nice.
This project is before you for a concept review. The concept review was held at the village board on October 19th. And the village board unanimously was in favor of the concept review moving forward to the plan commission. So it's now before the plan commission. And after this concept review, the applicant will proceed to the formal zoning entitlement process. There is one thing that we do need to vote on after your discussion, is whether this is an amendment to an existing PUD. So the Plan Commission has to determine whether it's going to be a minor change or a substantial change. And a minor change is a modification that would not change the general character of the plan development or relocate any principal or accessory structures, reduce any parking, relocate traffic facilities. increase land coverage, increase floor area, or reduce the amount of open space. So a substantial change would make one of those modifications. So I can repeat that later if we need be. So we just need to decide if it's going to be a minor or substantial, and the difference between the two. They both go through the same process, except if it's determined to be a substantial change, it will require a public hearing.
Thank you. And the petitioner, come on up. Name and business address?
Jamie Smith, representing Smith Family Development. Sorry, our attorney thought this was a Zoom meeting tonight, so he was supposed to be speaking, but hopefully I do a fair enough job for you guys. So obviously the site originally was intended to be a 7-story condo building fitting in with the 2 existing 7-story buildings to the north of the development, the 2 5-stories to the south, and the single-story clubhouse at the west end of the pond. And we are proposing 18 units, single-family townhomes on this site. I'm going to skip ahead to the site plan real quick. With a central drive known as Prairie Court running through the center so that you have all of the garages and driveways not impacting the views of the existing development. So even though it is the back of the buildings facing the existing Prairie Park Drive, we really felt that keeping everything within the new project wouldn't affect current residents as much. We are catering to the same demographics as the average existing condo unit owner. First floor masters, 2 bedrooms upstairs. There is an option if someone wants a more traditional 3 bedrooms on the upper floors with your kitchen, living, dining on the first floor. We do have 8 additional parking spaces, as well as your driveways and then 2-car garages. We also do have land banked at both of these corners that is not existing today if we do need to add additional parking. If I go back. Sorry. Oh. So here is what we're looking at currently. It's a vacant site. There is a transformer in the center when we were still intending to do the 5th and final building. To the north, you have an empty parcel. We actually do have ownership of that property, and we do anticipate it being mostly a residential project. I know there was some concerns from staff of it being commercial. However, especially after a recent meeting that we had on Monday, we are intending to do a residential project on that piece. Here you have the view from across the pond in the existing Prairie Park. So this is facing north once again. And as I said, we didn't want any garages or driveways facing the interior of the project that could affect views of current residents. More views, as you can see here, a 5-story, 7-story structure with the 1-story clubhouse in between. The clubhouse is actually 27 feet at the center, with the 2 ends being under 20 feet. The townhomes will be 32 feet across the board. And here you can somewhat see some of the houses that are directly south of the existing Prairie Park project. Those are single-family 2-story homes that are 27 feet high. Here you've got the north elevation facing the diversion channel. The materials we use will be same exact materials that we used with the existing condo buildings. The roof would be the same material used on the clubhouse roof. To continue that continuity, definitely willing to work with staff to make sure we get it just right. Here's a west elevation facing a courtyard being the section between the triplex units, so not the ends of the project. And as you can see on this east end unit, we rose the height of the stone and the brick to better accommodate the feel of the buildings on either end. So those bookends, we really wanted to elevate the feel and the look so that they fit with the existing buildings. This would be a north elevation facing the new drive, Prairie Court. with your garages and your front entrances. The end units, actually the entrances will be around the side, which is why you don't see those front doors for the two end units. A south elevation facing the pond. So this would be the look when you drive through the existing Prairie Park Drive. This would be the look of the triplexes that you see from the existing development. Once again, willing to work with staff to get the facade just right so that it fits with the existing buildings. Here you have another east elevation bookend with a higher stone and a west elevation facing one of the courtyards, which would be between two triplexes. And then here would be the other south elevation facing the new Prairie Court. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right. Let's start with Commissioner Berkey this time.
So the proposed look is going to be similar in color to like the clubhouse?
Correct. Same materials of stone and brick that you see on the buildings and the clubhouse. The only difference between the existing condo buildings would be the roof will be the same material that the clubhouse is, so that the color scheme matches identical.
Okay. And then elevation, as far as the land versus the land that the condos sit on, I notice it's a little bit lower. Is there any concern for water accumulation?
No, and we have our architect here, and we've talked to our civil who knows the site from every which way. We are planning on doing basements. They'll be slightly elevated to accommodate for the water table between the existing pond in Prairie Park and the diversion channel to the north.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Jamie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. The orientation of the buildings, you know, the backs are actually facing
The center.
out towards like the main drive.
Correct.
And then the other one would be the channel. Is there any way that you could work on that to make it at least look like it's a front, even though it's not?
So it does. There are doors there, and they didn't attach the floor plans, which would have, I think, shown that more. So it looks like your front entrance. It's just you're going to have walk-ups to that back. You just don't have the driveway and the garages. So not this one. This one. Yep. Go back.
Yeah, that was it.
This one.
That one.
So those are your essentially. When I picture people walk, you know, a lot of people do like to walk within the existing Prairie Park. When I picture people walking out of their home within these townhomes, this is going to be the door that they utilize to take a walk. Now, obviously, if they're going to get groceries, traveling, they're going through their garage. But in terms of enjoying the amenities within Prairie Park, this would be their primary entrance and exit that I would anticipate. This is also, we've talked about, and that would obviously be further on, but where to put grills, you know, how covered this space may be, where we could hide an area tucked away where people could grill as well, but we've also talked about putting that on the side of the project. But even though this is the back, this is your front door, your front look.
Okay. All right, thank you. You're omitting the existing, or what was originally planned as the access road behind the...
Correct. So that
building?
north connector road, obviously originally there was going to be a 7-story condo building there, which is why you needed that road. There's no building. You're still gaining a second access point. We're willing to work with fire to make sure that turning radius is all work so that they can traverse through every road within Prairie Park.
And is that going to be possible to have the proper area that you need for your equipment? Through the...
It does modify and affect a little bit the access to and from the rear of the two existing mid-rise, high-rise buildings. But you still have a longer route that you can get there. The other concern, which he just mentioned, that they need to provide us the turning radius analysis to make sure that, in fact, the roadways, as they are revising them, will accommodate the ladder truck getting in and out of the site.
And then you wouldn't need to get into the rear between the diversionary channel and the buildings?
That would be no different than your residential home.
Okay.
And other similar townhome projects in the community.
Right. Okay, thank you. And then the only other thing was, you mentioned about that transformer. Are you going to have that?
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to move some electric, and once we get further along, we'll get into it.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Yednick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I don't think I can render an impartial opinion on this project, so I'm going to abstain from discussion and voting. Thank you.
Very well. Commissioner Thompson.
Yeah, I don't really have any questions. I do like the fact that, that the little area is going to be changed up a bit with a different style. I think having 5 different buildings that are all, 7 stories can kind of give a looming feel and a little bit more congested. So I do like I do actually like the change up here. I think it'll look nicer.
Yeah, and the two buildings, and I noticed in staff comments, it's only mentioned 7 stories, but the 2 buildings to the south are actually 5 stories. So you have 2 5 stories, 2 7, and a single story. So you already have differentiation throughout the site.
Yeah, I think too much conformity can be a little unappealing, so that's all for me, thank you.
Commissioner Creech.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Antor, I had a similar question as Mr. Sprague did about, getting to the rear of that 75 building, and you said that wouldn't be an issue. What about the space in between the buildings? Is that an issue? They're saying it's only 10 feet.
You referring to the horizontal distance between each of the structures, or
I'm talking about
across the street?
No, I'm talking about the
go back to that
space
site
in
plan.
between the townhouses.
The courtyards, and if we get you back to the
No,
site.
between 85 and 75 and 75 and 65, that little 10-foot area in between there.
That,
You don't have a problem with that either?
indirectly, no, and the issue is that will be, they may have 10 feet, but we haven't, building has not reviewed it for permitting, and there are code requirements based on
That's within code, right?
the construction material used in the buildings, and they may fall within a 10 feet allowable space, yes.
Okay, so as far as fireproof materials and such, because they're only 10 feet apart, is that what you're saying?
Well, the building code with the type of construction is going to regulate what the distance is based on the material. If it's a 1-hour rated exterior wall, that's all covered in the building code.
Okay.
Separation requirement. And I suspect that their architect looked at that when he made the distance requirements.
Okay, and that leads me up to mechanical locations. You have AC condensers, gas meters, you have waste receptacles that you need to accommodate for. I was wondering, and actually on your floor plan, you're showing 2 HVAC units in each unit. So that would be, 2 for each unit. I was wondering where you were going to locate these mechanicals.
In the basement.
You're going to put the air conditioner condenser in the
No,
basement?
not the condenser, just the 1 unit.
So you're only going to have 1 HVAC system for the whole unit? Okay, again, where are you going to put those condensers and those gas meters? Because I don't think you can put them in between the buildings.
I'm not sure if you have the
And I don't
drawing.
think you can put them in the back of the buildings either, because you have decks behind the...
I'm not sure if the latest plan shows that on the ones facing the diversionary channel, I did have the AC unit planned on that.
One back. Okay.
That one.
Yeah, where those steps go down.
So you're going to put them in front of the windows?
To the side of the window there.
Right in front of the window?
To the side of the window.
It'll, yeah,
Okay,
it'll be next to the privacy screen.
so you feel there's enough room there for and it won't impede the opening of the window,
Should be a fairly small,
since those are casement windows, it looks like.
yeah, but
And you
they,
can't put them under the deck.
right, right.
And then I'm going to gas meters.
Those would
So we have
most-
issues with that as well, correct?
Yeah,
This is the concept review.
I understand that.
We've built 4 buildings there. I promise you, we'll accommodate for.
This is a concept review.
I understand.
I
I'm
got a
just
lot
saying-
more questions, so I mean.
I'm here. I'm ready, willing, and able to answer.
Okay, well,
We're obviously, we need to work a little more with our architect, with our engineers to make it fit.
All right, all
And
right.
everything will be within code, and, I feel confident that it will all be viable, within code, safe, and a great project.
okay, I just don't want you to go too far and then be disappointed in the future.
I totally agree.
The elevations that you are showing me, especially on this elevation, you absolutely have way too much eaves on this. You're supposed to have, I think, minimum 60% of masonry on each elevation. So the amount of eaves that you have on all of these buildings are too much.
Well, we're definitely willing to work with staff to make sure that we're within code to accommodate for that. This was,
The other thing is, the prairie style that you're presenting here is not prairie style architecture. So I would like to see your architect work on changing this up to a little bit more of a prairie style architecture that will fit more into your project.
And
I was
we-
over at your project today.
And we have no problem working with staff to accommodate that. Obviously, we want to hit a home run with this project. This is what we feel fits and looks great within it, which is why we designed the other 4 buildings the way that we did. And we anticipate this looking absolutely phenomenal, and we're willing to work with staff to accommodate something that they're happy, that you guys are happy with as well.
Okay, so you're going to work on this to be prairie style, so
We are going to.
it'll look more
we are
like
gonna
your clubhouse than what this looks like?
with
Because I
all-
was over at your place today, and it's a great place. Let me say that. Because you have a beautiful property over there. And I want you to, be successful as well.
With all due
This
respect.
is not, this, I don't believe is a prairie style architecture, and I don't think it fits in to what you have there.
So if you look at the existing clubhouse, I live there. I know it very well. It's wrapped stone, wrapped brick.
Yes, I'm not talking
Wrap
about the
ephes.
materials, I'm talking about the
No, I'm not talking about the materials.
architecture.
I'm talking about the architecture. The
So
same thing
does
with the
this,
limestone
okay,
cap.
Jamie, are you going to argue with me?
I'm not arguing, I'm trying to
So
answer your
is
question,
this,
and you're berating me.
can I ask a question? Do you want to come up here and answer my question?
No, I'll answer it.
Commissioner Creech, let's lighten it up a little bit.
Did I do something to you?
I'm being respectful. You're not being
Creech.
respectful back, you're talking over me. So, do you want to come up here and discuss it with me, or would you like your son
No,
to
I'm
finish?
here. Oh, I'm here.
Okay, I imagine that you're going to go with gutters and downspouts on this project, and we're going to have to see where those drain into and how that's going to work. I certainly would like to see where, you're going to take care of your garbage cans for each unit.
Those would,
I would like to see where you're going to have a mailbox center for all the people that are going to be living there. My next issue is setbacks. Now, our code says it's 30 feet in between buildings, so you have more than 30 feet in between the condos and the townhouses. On your south elevation that is facing Prairie Drive, that unit 80C on that southwest corner looks like it's about 5 feet away from the sidewalk. Now, we do have setbacks for buildings to streets. I believe that is also 30 feet.
so the existing buildings are an average of, I believe it's 12 feet, or it might be 11 feet from the
curb?
from the roadway, and these average 14 feet. So these are actually set back further on average than the existing 4 condo buildings.
Well, that's not what I see. The north elevation, you are 1'6" on your site plan here from your property line, which is right up against the diversionary channel. Are we going to need any sort of bank stabilization, maybe some sheet piling or something for the back over there, considering you're right up next to a waterway?
No.
So you've looked into this engineering wise?
Sir, you'll have to get up and talk in the microphone.
The diversionary channel on that site plan is further
Well, it drops off quite a bit
further
back there.
It does start sloping, but it's not radical right off from the
But you're
property.
putting basements and everything else back there.
And that's why we have a window.
And this is this has already been a filled property prior to this, correct? So possible bank stabilization in the back. Okay, that was my question, thank you. What else did I, well, of course, a big variance for that, 1'6" instead of 30 feet. That's pretty big. And then the footprint of the townhouses in relation to the condo building that you were going to put up there, it appears to me that the footprint from all these units compared to what the townhouse is going to be is much greater. So is there going to be re-engineering on the detention for additional water?
We have additional detention and comp storage.
Okay. The density per acre is, again, it's over what our code is. And the other thing is the parking slabs that you are providing for each of these townhouses, you have a dimension of 18 feet.
So regarding
on a majority of them, which is smaller than our required parking requirements.
So regarding the density, obviously this is a change to the PUD, which encompasses the entire 17-plus acre site. When you account for the amount of open space, if you were to take 1/5 of the existing open space on the project, with the townhomes, they would fall below the 14 per unit density. And then, I'm sorry, what was the next question?
So is that in fact how it's calculated?
Wouldn't it be based on the entire PUD?
Per acre of what's being developed? So since these are townhouses rather than the condos, is that any different, Mallory?
We haven't looked into that issue yet at this concept level. Obviously, as they prepare the amendment application, that would be looked at if it meets it. PUDs often have variances built in, so if there was a specific one that wasn't already addressed by the PUD, we'll address it at the application time. I don't know the answer right now, but
Thank you.
that would just be something addressed. If it meets, if it's across the whole PUD and they already have it, then it won't be listed. If it needs to, we'll address it at the application.
Okay, thank you, Mallory. And then Jamie, the last one is the parking. Our requirements are 9 foot by 18 foot, 6, and a lot of these are only 18 foot in depth from the face of the building.
So as I said, we do have land banked at both these two corners. If we need to add these parking spaces.
That's not what I'm talking about, the depth of the parking space, because people are going to be parking there and hanging into the street, because they're
What's
short.
the depth? Do you know the depth?
We have a 24-foot flag aisle space.
That's a street, but that has to be clear for a fire lane. You can't be like hanging your car into the street.
We do have the 70 building does set back 21 feet. That is pushed back a little further because we have more room to do that.
Yes, but there is one,
And
three,
actually the 80,
four,
all
five,
the,
6, 7, 8, 9 of them are only 18 feet.
Okay, the A and the C units on the north side are another 1.5 feet further back, so those are 19 and a half, whereas the B unit is the 18.
So it's the C,
And we could,
and the middle units of all the other ones are all. I'm just saying,
I appreciate it. If we had to, we could pull it, the 60, 70, and 80 building, that could be pulled another 6 inches toward Prairie Park Drive, if necessary. This is a PUD.
I'm sorry, what?
This is a PUD, so I thought there were some variables that could be sought.
Yes, yes. Again, if with the PUD variances are often, if it's just probably calling out if there is going to be that 6-inch variance, it would just need to be called out.
Okay, just to make one point, I don't have that information on my packet, so I'm just pointing out what I see. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, in our staff report, there was comments made about outstanding engineering issues. Do we need to bring those up at this point?
No, I did speak with John Tack, the village engineer, before the meeting, and he said that everything could be addressed with this.
Yes,
the
and we're willing to work with staff to address them all.
Just curious on what kind of feedback you're getting from the current owners.
Great feedback. My neighbors, I've had one person raise some questions, but those are more so about how the assessments are going to work, and obviously we're not far enough along there. But I'd say most people, specifically in the 100 and the 40 buildings, that those, you have 24 units, I believe, in each building that are going to be facing that, I think are actually much happier that you're going to have 2-story townhomes as opposed to a 7-story building obstructing their views. And they want to see the site completed. They want to see a nice finished product rather than what's sitting there now.
Anything else from fire on this? Okay.
I have one statement I wanted to
Yes.
just make related to that question, because it came up at one point, and I spoke with Mr. Shapiro already about this. I just wanted the commission to be aware that just for advancing for the formal review process, the applicant will just need to establish that the governing docs allow this request, the change from the condo to the townhomes, and that's either just through showing us that the current condo governing declaration allows it, or that the condo declarations have been amended to allow the request. So that's future. It's not something that's being addressed now, but we've already talked to the applicant about it, their attorney about it.
Thank you. Let's see if I got anything else. Any other questions from the commission at this point? Now, their next step would be a preliminary review, which would involve public notice.
No, because it's an amendment to a PUD. We don't do the preliminary and final again. It would just come to you as a docket that is an amendment to the PUD.
And this would not be a public hearing?
Well, no, that's what we needed to determine whether or
Okay.
not this is a substantial change. And a substantial change is one that changes the general character of the plan development, like causes a substantial relocation of principal or accessory structures, causes a substantial relocation or reduction in parking, loading, or recreational areas, increase land coverage of building or parking areas, increase number of dwelling units, or reduce amount of open space landscaping or screening.
Okay.
So we just need the commission's determination if this would come back as a substantial or minor.
And we should take a vote on that now then. So, we're voting on whether this should be considered a substantial change that would require public notice and at the next meeting, or the next time. they-
Right, the number of meetings doesn't change.
Right.
They still have to come to the plan commission and go to the board. So it's just
Okay.
that public notice.
So, Mr. Secretary, can you take roll call on that question?
Yes, I can. So it'll be either major or minor,
Yeah,
Yes.
or substantial? or minor?
substantial or minor.
Substantial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Berkey,
Minor.
Commissioner Sprague is substantial. Commissioner Yednak,
Abstain.
Commissioner Thompson,
Substantial.
Commissioner Creech,
Substantial.
Chairman Johnson,
Substantial.
4-1,
Okay.
substantial.
Anything else we need to do on this one?
No.
Nope. Okay. You have some input. I would recommend next time color renderings and all that good stuff.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have approval of minutes of the regular meeting of October 28th, 2020, including findings of fact for docket numbers 2020-29 and 2020-30. And then we'll also have, well, let's do that one first.
So moved.
I do have a change.
Oh, I'm sorry. Marcy, you have a change in the minutes?
So in docket number 2020-29 for the findings, Commissioner Blanova had mentioned, she was talking about every policy should have an ordinance and law coverage, which is 10% extra to the dwelling. And in the minutes, it was called an actual cash value coverage, and it should actually be an ordinance and law coverage.
Okay.
To make that change.
Was that clarified by Commissioner Blanova, or?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so motion to approve the minutes of October 28th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, approval of minutes for November 4th, 2020. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Other business, Ms. Nyes, do you have something?
I have a couple things. So just presenting the 2021 regular meeting schedule. Let me know if anyone has any comments on that. Again, it's the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, except where noted for November and December, it shifts to accommodate the holidays. Also wanted to follow up on the parking islands at Walmart.
Oh, yes.
The rocks have been removed and replaced with mulch. And starting with the next Plan Commission meeting, and I believe the next Village Board meeting, the meetings will be virtual.
I'm sorry, what?
The meetings will be virtual, the Plan Commission meetings, starting
okay.
with the next meeting. And I believe the board meeting on Monday will be virtual as well.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. Commissioner Creech, any other business?
Like I said, I drove by the airport today and I see that they're working right along on Sumac there with the new gas station / restaurant. Looks like they're moving right along. Question about the property right next to London, I believe that's 900 Dundee. I haven't seen much action over there. Anything going on that?
The actual Wingspan property? Or,
Yeah.
No. Next,
You're talking about the empty lot next
the
to
empty lot where they tore down the buildings, right at, I believe it's 900 West Dundee, isn't it?
Yeah, roughly.
Next to the London Middle School?
Yeah.
oh, right, yeah. Yeah,
They
we're,
have equipment there, it looked like they're ready to go, but,
right, they're in for review right now.
oh, wonderful. Thank you, that's all I have.
Because that wooded area will be all cleared out as part of that project.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Thompson, anything?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Commissioner Yednek?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I was just going to make a proposal that we go to virtual meetings based on what's going on, but I'm glad to hear we are. Thanks.
Okay, we'll do that.
I'm glad you agree with me. Thanks. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Sprague?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy Thanksgiving to all. That's all I have.
Commissioner Berkey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing at this time, but of course, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
I really didn't have anything, except that I did share a photo with Marcy the other day. A new trick that the realtors are using to promote open houses. They have an open house sign plus a feather sign at the same location. And I saw it the last 2 weekends along Dundee.
Well, the new Manda apartments are littered with feather signs.
Yeah.
And those they may need to get a heads up that they're not legal yet.
All right, anything else? Ron, anything from the fire department? Any good news from the fire department?
We built the firehouse.
That's right, you are.
Plan commission approved it.
Not wasting any time on that either. How's it working out with them working out of the Mavis?
So far, so good.
Good. Okay, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.